So, this video begins a series of videos that's going to be dedicated to something that's in the Ashtanga Yoga system called the Niyamas. Now, you may have seen or heard about there are 5 things called the Yamas, and those are the first step in the Ashtanga Yoga system. These are about the ways that we don't so much relate to other people. What's brilliant about the Ashtanga Yoga system now, from out there to other people, now we're moving in. And the Niyamas are about how we act. So these are much more our personal practices. So I just love this about this system. First it's out there, now it's me. Now it's really, I feel a lot about my accountability. And like with the Yamas, there are 5 of these. And it's always to remind ourselves that oftentimes on lists, the first thing is really so important. And so the first of these Niyamas is called Saucha, and that means cleanliness. And so cleanliness can mean 2 different things. Oftentimes, with all of these concepts, there's the base meaning, and then there's the meaning that goes below it. So clearly, we want to, as we say, keep it clean. We want to keep the body clean, because if the body is clean, the body is healthy. And even though yoga is all about discovering we're not the body and we're not the mind, we use the body to understand we're not the mind. That's really what asana, the physical practice, is all about. And think about it. How difficult is it for you to hold your mind still, what to speak of meditate, when you have a toothache or a backache? I always use the example of my good friend Bhakti Devi, who is such an amazing meditator. Every day, for years, she gets up at 4:30 in the morning, sits on her meditation pillow, and meditates for at least an hour and a half before she goes out into the world, her big job as a banker. But last year, she hurt her back. And her back pain was so searing, she could no longer even meditate for 5 minutes. A woman who had done this for years. That tells us the power of the physical body to be able to derail any of our practices. So Saucha is a yes to take good care of the body, which is, yoga philosophy is really interesting, because while it does hammer home on you're not the body, you're not the body, you're not the body, again, it never asks you to neglect or abuse the body. It's sort of like, I'm not my car. I know I'm not my car, but I am going to get the oil change, and I'm not going to drive it with flat tires. Yeah, in that same way, Saucha encourages us, keep the body clean, keep it healthy. But then the deeper level is since yoga is really all about the mind, what we're also trying to keep clean is our mind. Now, in this way, we're not saying like, keep it clean, we're not getting puritanical, it's not like, ooh, you thought a dirty word, no. It means to have some purity of the mind in terms of the little thoughts that we think that are completely unnecessary to our lives. If you think of them like a clean room, think of them like dust bunnies. Things like envy, things like narcissism, things like being judgmental. They're all like dust that cover our hearts and cover our minds and keep us from realizing what we actually are. I always love the definition of what we really are that was given to me by my dear teacher Ganeshan many years ago. He said, if divine truth and divine love had children, that would be us. That's the nature of what we really are. That's the gold star of where we want to get to in our yoga practices. And all these little thoughts, these little dust bunnies, are in our way. And so we want to sweep them clear. And that's what the practice of yoga is all about. I had a friend write a beautiful essay once. And he said that the heart is the place where we keep that which we treasure the most. So don't we want to dust off the heart, just like when we invite somebody into our home, even if we don't clean any other time, we dust it off when they come. And so Saucha means this clarity and this cleanliness of body and of thought, because with this clarity of thought, we begin to see who and what we really are. And so the benefit, we will say, the fruit, the follow shruti of Saucha is very, very interesting. It's one that can seem a little weird. It says that when one is really practicing Saucha, one develops a distaste for the body. Ugh, that doesn't sound good. And you might think, didn't you just say that we're supposed to take care of the body? Yes. But what it means is that one begins to really, really see that when one keeps the body clean and one keeps the thoughts clean, we begin to see, whoa, I'm not the body because I'm the observer of the body. If I'm able to observe, if I'm able to slow down my mind and even for a second perceive that I'm a soul, I see that I'm something way better than what I thought I was. I've been perceiving, again to the car analogy, that I'm a car. A car that no matter how much I take care of it, is going to break down one day. It's going to get rusty. The catalytic converter, whatever the heck that is, might break down. The steering is going to go down. It's just going to happen because that is the nature of everything except for the soul, which, lucky for me, is what I am. The body is simply the vehicle for the soul. And so when one really practices this sweeping away of those excess thoughts, this getting some clarity, we begin to see, whoa, body, you're not who I really am. And so when we have this, as they call it, distaste, but not spending so much time on this thing that's not really me, we begin to have even more time to look what is me, the inner self, the truer self, the more internal, eternal self. So it does not mean when you read these things that it's like distaste for the body, it doesn't mean that you're to abuse the body. Take care of it, but understand the body's the instrument. It's the instrument that we can use to see who we really are. It's like glasses. I wear reader glasses, so I don't need them all the time. It's when I read print, and if I flip them up to the top of my head, they get the jojoba oil that I put on my hair, and then I can't see anymore. I clean them off. Saucha is to clean up the body so it's healthy, to clean up the mind so we can see. And when we do see, we see something really cool. We see that we're this bright, blissful gem of a soul that's riding around in a body that has a mind. And that is ultimately what yoga is all about. So, Saucha.